In a recent CBS News poll, 2 out of 3 Americans told us they're stressed about their own finances.
On the CBS Money Watch, the U.S. economy has a case of foodflation.
The majority of Americans don't make enough money to cover some of the basic costs of living, like health care and rent.
Look at this map. Each red zone represents areas where families are losing electricity, water, and gas at rates we haven't seen since the Great Depression.
Shalom. First, I start off by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to teachers, elders, and apostles of great millstone, likewise, brothers putting on this truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep, and to you, brothers and sisters, tuning in. Shalom. Today's lesson is titled Evidence of the Lord's Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai work. Yet, they believe not. And you saw in that opening clip, and that's from the YouTube channel Epic Economist. You can subscribe. He's got some very interesting videos concerning the downfall of America. But we, as the men of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, okay, we bringing out through the scriptures, and you can see the madness that's taking place here. Okay, the sorrows that these people are feeling. Okay, and this is all part of the Lord's work. He said he would be visiting the earth and the heavens that he created, and those visitations and the judgment that he had promised to bring upon great Babylon, America, okay, is being manifest.
$6.15 fucking cents for a half a pound of Greek hot sweet peppers. What the hell? Is this what you voted for? The highest fucking food cost I've ever seen in my entire life? $9 for some damn pizza sauce. $10 fucking for a small pack of Starbucks coffee. Oh my god. Got a dang sweet treat for the dog. $20. Sweet treat for the dog. Sorry. $20. I guess you're gonna have to just find me fucking stinking. Cause look at that. Clearance. $8.39. I'm telling you right now. We're going to be paying $100,000 for a loaf of bread before this administration is over. The same administration that told us that on day one energy prices would come down, that the war in the Ukraine would be over, that the price of gas, food, and it's all going to be a miracle. And if you go on their Instagram page right now, they're telling you it is a miracle. Only we can see. Our wallets know.
Okay, this is the book of Job 4 and verse 7. It reads, Remember, I pray thee, whoever perish, being innocent, aware what the righteous cut off. So these people that are crying and sighing and why me, poor me, you know, they're not innocent. Okay, they could very well, okay, be the regeneration of spirits that was hanging jakes, that was whipping jakes out in the field. Okay, that was doing a lot of horrific things. Okay, to the children of Israel, and here they are right now today. Okay, starting in 2025. Okay, receiving, okay, the beginning of their judgments, okay, and the judgment that you see really taking place right now here in Great Babylon, America, is an economic famine, okay, and people are complaining about the thing that makes the American people, you know, happy and satisfied, which is the ability to purchase food, okay, which is very expensive. Facts. When we go into the book of Revelation 6 and start verse 5, because we're right now in the time of the black horse, okay? And this is what it says here. It says, and when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. So you have the rich and the poor simultaneously living here in Great Babylon, America. Okay, the people who are the haves, okay, they're not concerned about the people who are considered the have-nots, okay? And what you're going to have is basically people working their ass off to death. You know, basically you're working for a lot, you know. I remember one time I made a comment to the cashier in Albertson. I said, hey, you know, because she said the chicken I was buying was $15. I said, well, there's going to come a time when this chicken is going to cost $300. And she laughed, you know, but this is where we're going, okay? That's what inflation is all about, all right? you have, great disparity between the rich and the poor, and the king of Babylon is working for the rich. Okay, and what this is going to create, okay, is chaos. Okay, as the peasants, the poor people, are going to rise up against, the rulers of Great Babylon America. Okay, the rich people. Okay, and we know the end result is going to be what takes place. Okay, as a solution pursuant to Revelation 13 and 16, which talks about, he calls it both rich, poor, free and bond. Okay, small and great, to receive a mark in their right hand to buy, so that they could buy or sell, roughly paraphrasing. Okay, so that tells you even during the chaos, okay, there's still going to be a disparity between the rich and the poor. There's still going to be rich people who have to take this mark, and poor people who have to take this mark, people who are free, people who are locked up, people in the internment camp, okay, homeless, everybody. This is the only way you're going to be able to buy or sell. And this is going to be a global thing, because this is a judgment that's coming from the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Okay, let's go into Isaiah 13 and 11, because we can see how this is all lining up. Okay, how this is all lining up. Okay, it says, and I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible.
Now, watch as I show you something even more disturbing. These darker areas, those are tent cities, encampments of working Americans who have jobs but can't afford housing. This isn't happening in some distant country. This is your America right now. What you're seeing is the systematic breakdown of basic living standards across the United States. And the worst part, most people have no idea how bad it's gotten.
I am homeless, and I live here in my car because while I work 50 to 60 hours every single week, I don't make enough money to afford an apartment, which is now over $1,800 per month on average, and often more than that. And every single day here on social media, people are leaving comments and sending me messages saying that I'm not homeless because I live in my car.
Now, you can make an argument that these poor Edomites, they have nothing to do with the policies or, Jake's being poor or anything like that. But the fact is that keep in mind that when the Lord Yahweh Shai judges a tribe, or he judges a nation, okay, he judges everybody in it. Now, there's going to be a different degree. How your punishment is going to be depends on what you've done. You've committed, the iniquities that you've committed. But nonetheless, the Lord Yahweh Shai, he punishes the entire, nation. This is how we, are being judged, okay? And so these Edomites, okay, we're talking about the Edomites right now, are going to be judged that way, and the rest of these other tribes, okay? They're wicked. They carried us into slavery. They're doing a whole lot of wickedness. They're not serving the Lord Yahweh Shai, who is a true living power. They're serving sticks and stones and bricks. Okay, so the Lord Yahweh Shai is going to bring judgment on this entire earth. Okay, and we are seeing it manifest here in Great Babylon America. Let's go into the book of Proverbs 20 and 24, and it reads, "Man's going are of the Lord Yahweh Shai. How can a man then understand his own way?" You have Trump right now, okay, he's simultaneously pursuing, okay, or persecuting the children of Israel through, grabbing them off the streets, sending his troops into these different cities to grab up Jakes, who he has labeled as criminals and terrorists, while simultaneously ignoring his own people, okay? These when you think about middle class, and upper middle class, the picture that comes into your head, at least in mine, in the past, has always been Edomites, okay? Edomites, they represent making it. They represent doing well. Even Jakes, who do well, the few celebrities that we, used to idolize and stuff like that, you think about them in terms of entertaining you, but, they got some, payment from Esau for being talented. But when you think about the people that's doing well, okay, that has a nice life, take vacation, has health care, being able to afford good food and all that stuff like that, what comes to my mind is what's always been the Edomites, the so-called white people, okay, and what the Lord has actually done right now, okay, when we go into Isaiah 19, verse 3, Okay, it says, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards, seeking answers like, why isn't it like how it was before 10, 15, 20 years ago? They always keep comparing the times that we're in right now to the Great Depression. Okay, that's always been their measuring stick as far as, economic stability and, doing well in life, here in Great Babylon, America. And so they keep trying to resort back to that, but this time around, that's not going to be the case. This isn't going to be a rebuild. Okay, we're gonna conquer this. We're gonna fix this. Okay, it says, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, said the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Shemashai. This correlates, okay, with what I read to you in Proverbs 20 and 24, which says, man's going off the Lord Yahweh Shemashai. How can a man then understand his own way? Because the Lord Yahweh Shemashai is controlling Donald Trump to do exactly what he's doing. Okay, he's been controlling all of these kings and princes, even to the point of them being able to subject the children of Israel, so-called Black Americans and Latinos, to slavery. That was all the Lord Yahweh Shemashai guiding the ways of men. Okay, and so Trump is no different. Trump is executing all of the things, okay, through these executive directives and things that he's putting into in order. Okay, because the Lord Yahweh Shemashai has put him in that position to do just that.
A few days ago, I did a post about what I'm doing to try to reduce the costs in my home. And I asked people what they were doing, partly because I thought it would help us share ideas with one another. But the amount of comments on that post where people are saying, I feed my children and I don't eat, or I eat every third day, or I'm eating one meal a day, or the bare minimum food is a pretty common trend in that post. While we've been watching the situation going on in Gaza, it's happening closer to home too. There are many people here who are literally that food insecure. And I know the whole platform was, oh, there's so much abuse and SNAP and this and that. There are actually people not eating for days here. And I don't think that's getting enough attention. Most of us can't see outside of our own situation. We don't understand what it's like to be in that situation. It's a bother to us to be proposed with people that are homeless. It's a bother to us to hear people complain that I'm hungry.
$830.27. Anybody want to guess what that is? You won't guess. So I'm just going to share it with you. That is my electric bill this month. Okay, full disclosure, that is less than last month. Our bill last month was $1,130.98. I'm sorry, it's insane. That is my mortgage payment plus more. Okay, I don't know how anybody is expected to pay that. So, our house is big. It's not huge. It's not a mansion. It's about 2,500 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 3 baths. We had 5 children. Our bills with our children, all 5 living at home, were between $400 and $700 a month. So we have called the electric company. They've come out. We live beside a restaurant. We were adamant that we were paying the electric company's bill also. It's ridiculous. Who can afford even $400 a month for electricity, but they expect us to pay $830 or $1,130. So, yeah, I logged in this morning to see what our bill was when it was due, $830.27.
You know how I know America is struggling? It's been about 14 days since I had one single job. I went a whole year working at least 1 or 2 jobs per day. And now, 14 days, nothing's changed, everything's good, I got good reviews, everything's, I'm a handyman, so do yard work, electrical, all sorts of stuff. 14 days, I have not had one single job. Nothing's changed. Everything's good. I'm getting clicks. I'm getting, everything's good. That tells me that Americans are going super broke. They're trying to do things themselves, which is fine, but 14 days, not one single job. The struggle is about to get real, y'all.
Okay. This is Jeremiah 14, and sorry, 13, because one of the biggest things that you see taking place, in the ministry, and when I say with the ministry, okay, the ministry is divided because you have the men that are steadfast, teaching the true truth, not holding their tongue, not sugarcoating anything, okay, and this has become very unpopular amongst the children of Israel that don't want to believe, okay, that there is a God that is going to judge them in a very harsh way, and that if they don't repent, that they're going to fall into some serious judgment, okay, and so men have risen to basically soothe the minds of these people through false testimony and false prophecy, and we know those camps out there that are doing this. But again, okay, man's going is that of the Lord Yahweh Shemashai. So this has already been written, okay. This is verse 13. It says, "Then said I, Lord power, behold, the prophets say unto them, Ye shall not see the sword, neither shall ye have famine, but I will give you a sure peace in this place." So you got the prophets, you got guys out there right now saying there's not going to be any Jacob's trouble, there's not going to be any famine, there's not going to be any sword. Well, I just showed you, okay, or just told you, and you've seen it every single day. Trump has his eyes set on the children of Israel. Okay, that's a sword. Okay, right now they're playing nice, rounding you up and hog tying you and throwing you inside internment camp. Maybe you might take a shower for twice a week, 3 times a week. You might get some food or some medicine. But sooner or later, they're just going to let you starve inside there, and they can just shoot you on doggone sight real soon. Because why? At the same time, you have him ignoring his people who are not used to being ignored, and they're going to rise up and use the sword and go against the government, which is going to create that chaos. And do you really believe that the Trump administration or the United States government, the wicked elites that are in power, you think they're going to distinguish between who started it and who didn't? You think they're going to distinguish, who is fighting against the government or who isn't? They don't care. They're going after everybody. They already talk about population control anyways, okay, which they want to bring the population from 8.5 billion people down to 500,000 so they can manage it. And, the workers are really going to be, robots, so to speak. It says, "Then the Lord Yahweh Shemashai said unto me, the prophets that prophesy lie in my name, I sent them not, neither have I commanded them, neither spake unto them. They prophesy unto you a false vision and divination and a thing of naught, and the deceit of their heart." They want to tell you things are going to keep going well and all that stuff. Now see, we as the true prophets, we still exist. We still walk around. We still try to, have a little fun if you can. But in the back of our mind, because our heart is always constantly heavy to the fact that we know what we're going to be going through soon. We understand it. We understand this is what is coming at us. We understand that they're watching us. We understand that each and every one of us is a target, us and our families, and we just hope that we're going to make it through it. Okay, that we're actually going to get that protection that the Yahweh said that he's going to give his prophets. Okay, it says, "Therefore thus said the Lord Yahweh Shemashai concerning the prophets that prophesy in my name, and I sent them not. Yet they say, sword and famine shall not be in this land. By sword and famine shall these prophets be consumed." See that? Okay, so the rest of them that are laughing right now, making up these videos, and why y'all always talking shit, always talking against the white man? Well, who's executing the judgment against you? It's not us. We just reading to you what has already been written, what is actually going to happen. Okay, so the author of these books, given that divine inspiration from the Lord Yahweh Shemashai, who already seeing how the beginning, what's at the beginning, and what's going to be at the end. He's put it in the book. We just telling you how this is going to end. We know how it's going to end. Okay, so we're just telling you that. So why are you being angry at the messengers? Okay, you're going to die by the sword. Esau's already started the process. You're going to die by famine, whether you are going to die by famine out here, or you're going to be in those internment camps starving to death because you think that they're going to waste taxpayers' money or just waste money trying to feed your ass. Come on, think about that, Jay. Really, think about that. Okay, it says, "And the people to whom they prophesy shall be cast out in the streets of Jerusalem because of the famine and the sword, and they shall have none to bury them, their wives, nor their sons, nor their daughters. For I will pour their wickedness upon them. See that? Okay. And this is going to be something for you people to ponder on, because you're going to see children get put to death. You're going to see grown men killing kids, babies, smashing babies on the ground, little girls, all that stuff. You're going to see some shit. Okay? Be prepared for it. You're going to see some shit. All right? But there it is right there. Okay, let's go to Proverbs 14 and 15, because it says, to simply believe every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going. A wise man fared and departed from evil, but the fool rageth and is confident. Let's take a look at the word rageth. Okay, R-A-G-E-T-H. It means, okay, it's an archaic language. It says third person singular form of the word to rage, meaning to be furious, violent, or to be greatly agitated. Okay, which is basically, this is why you see a lot of these TikTok videos going against the prophets. Okay, they're angry. Okay, they don't want to hear this. Okay, and confident, it says feeling or showing confidence in oneself or self-assured. So you're being self-assured that you're not going to go through Jacob's trouble. Okay, that the so-called white man does not hate you, that he's not going to come and kill you in the streets, kill your babies, murder you, rape you, do a lot of horrible things to you and throw you in these internment camps, but let you starve to death or die of diseases and pestilence. Okay, you don't believe it because you're sure by these false prophets who want to sugarcoat everything and then tell you send donation through their cash apps. Okay, you don't see dollar sign on our videos now, do you? Let's go into the book of Proverbs 21 and 13. It reads, whoso stoppeth his ear at the cry of the poor, he also shall cry himself, but shall not be heard. Which is the judgment you're seeing going on right now with these Edomites. Okay, now we only seen the ones that are putting up the videos that, you know, in my opinion, they're shameless. You know, your problem is your problem, man. You shouldn't be putting your shit out there for people to see. Nobody gives a crapper nowadays. We all got our problems, you know, and, you know, I don't know what they're looking for, but that shows you just how weak these people are. Homelessness ain't nothing new. Starvation or can't buy this and that ain't nothing new. But, you know, these people think they throw it out there. But this is good. This is the Lord Yahweh Shemash putting this out there because, again, like I said, evidence of the Lord Yahweh Shemash at work. Yet still you moronic, stupid Hebrew Israelites don't believe. Okay? I don't know how different can we break it down. Yes, the scriptures are repetitive, but we put big pictures, we put videos, all kinds of stuff to try to convince you. The Lord Yahweh Shemash means business. Okay? Let's close out with the book of Isaiah 24. And start verse 11, it reads, there's crying for wine in the streets, all joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. In the street is left desolation, the gate is smitten with destruction. So people are faking the funk. You know, they drive around in their cars, they're going absolutely nowhere. Some of them just driving around and really with their windows screwed up and windows tinted, and they're just crying. And the car that they drive around in actually is their home for the night.
I don't know who's out here living the American dream, but I can tell you one person who isn't. And that's me. I have 4 kids and I'm working 3 jobs and I'm still struggling. I have my full-time job. I'm a 911 dispatcher. My other 2 jobs, a waitress. The American dream should not be this hard. I should not have to be working my life away, being away from my kids. You know, sometimes I have to pick. Am I going to pay my electric bill or am I going to buy groceries? Because my kids need to eat. This is not the American dream. I'm so tired of struggling. You know, so many people are going to work, working multiple jobs just to pay for a house to sleep in, just to put their head down at night. This is not the American dream, not my American dream. That's why I started posting here on TikTok. So hopefully I can slow down some so I can spend time with my kids. Life shouldn't be this hard. I know one person that's making 6 figures and they're still struggling. Why's it gotta be so hard?
There's been evidence of the Lord Yahweh Shemash at work. Yet they believe not. Lord willing to that was edified. Let's close back up and go on to Yahweh Shemash by Shemar Kakadash. Shalom.